When discussing Ford muscle cars, the Mustang often dominates, with over 10 million sold since 1964. However, other Ford muscle cars like the Torino Cobra, Falcon GT, and Fairlane Thunderbolt were also powerful contenders, ranking among Ford's fastest muscle cars alongside the iconic Mustang. Number 14. 1971 Ford Capri Piranha V8, 6.7 seconds. The Capri Piranha V8 was regarded as one of the fastest sports cars on the African continent when it launched in 1971. They were manufactured by a car company owned by an ex-Formula One mechanic out in Johannesburg, South Africa. At the very basic level, the car was created by fitting a massive 5.0-liter Mustang V8 engine into a Ford Capri 300XL Mk1. Other bits, like a high-performance air cleaner and aluminum intake manifold, were then added to create this very fast Ford muscle car. Number 13. 1973 Ford Falcon GT, 6.3 seconds. The Falcon GT was among the first Australian-designed Fords, and they were built with a focus on performance. Still criminally underrated, the Ford Falcon GT only had a 2-year production run from 1972 to 1973. But it did win more than a few hearts with its impressive performance. Power was supplied by a naturally aspirated V8 engine with 300 horsepower and about 380 pound-feet of torque. This helped propel the car from down under to 60 miles per hour in just over 6 seconds on its way to a top speed in excess of 120 miles per hour. Number 12. 1970 Ford Torino Cobra, 5.8 seconds. The Ford Torino that debuted in 1970 was new and featured a refreshing aircraft-inspired styling. It was about 5 inches longer and a full inch wider across the wheelbase than its predecessor. It helped create a sleek profile that hinted at its performance even when parked. That performance was supplied with the help of a 360 horsepower V8 engine, matted to a quick-shifting 4-speed manual transmission. It's not as popular as the Mustangs, but that power plant kept it at par with competitors like the Dodge Charger and Pontiac GTO. Number 11. 1963 Ford Galaxie Lightweight 427, 5.6 seconds. Before the fuel crisis in the 70s, Ford was all about their fastback muscle cars. The 1969 Ford Galaxie Lightweight is no exception. The 7.0-liter V8 itself might not have been lightweight, but the buckle seats and rubber floor mats are considered to be lightweight. Originally, the Lightweight was intended for the drag strip. All of this combined helped it to get up to speed in a cool 5.6 seconds. Slow by today's standards, but quick for something that looks like a land yacht. You can find one on Mecum for $100,000 plus. Number 10. 1969 Mercury Cougar Eliminator, 5.6 seconds. The 1969 Cougar Eliminator was serious business, especially the variants powered by the 428 Cobra jet engines. That power plant could whip up 335 horsepower at 5,200 RPM and 440 pound-feet of torque. There were several options that were made available to make the car even more potent. You could opt for the Ram Air package, which then benefited from the hood scope. There was also the Drag Pack package available, which made the car even more suited for straight-line racing. It might not have been the fastest muscle car around, but it was still no pushover. Number 9. 1969 Ford Mustang Mach 1 428 Cobra Jet, 5.5 seconds. In 1969, Ford decided to restyle the wildly popular Mustang. The end result was 3.8 inches longer and added an extra 150 pounds of weight. The 428 Cobra variant, as the name implied, had a 428 CID V8 engine that could be had with any of the 3 option levels. The car was seriously potent with any of the options selected, and proved to be a big hit with customers who wanted something fast but could not afford the wildly expensive Mustang Boss 429. Number 8. 1968 Shelby Cobra GT500 KR, 5.5 seconds. King of the road, or at least that's what KR stands for. With a massive 7.0-liter V8 outputting an equally massive 400 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque, it might actually hold that title pretty well, for the time anyway. The KR has some specialty quirks, like a custom fiberglass front hood, and was announced in the middle of 1968 as a way to help introduce the new Cobra name badge, they were getting ready to roll out. Number 7. 1969 Ford Mustang Boss 429, 5.3 seconds. The Ford Mustang Boss 429 was Ford's response to the challenge of qualifying at least 500 examples of its new racing engine for NASCAR competition. That new engine was a bonkers 7.0-liter semi-Hemi V8 that could rev all the way up to 8,000 RPM. To fit it into the car, the suspension had to undergo a series of serious tweaks. Despite being a thoroughbred road legal race car, the Mustang Boss 429 boasted a laudable 0 to 60 miles per hour time and could rocket on to a top speed well north of 100 miles per hour. Number 6. 1965 Ford Mustang 289, 5.2 seconds. The 1965 Mustang rode in on a wave of high expectations created by the launch of the debut model just a year earlier. It's fair to assume that the car did not disappoint, especially the Mustang 289 that was hailed as one of the fastest muscle cars in the 1960s. The car boasted a 271 horsepower engine, not a lot by today's standards, but was still enough to get the Mustang to 60 miles per hour in just over 5 seconds before maxing out at a respectable top speed of 120 miles per hour. Number 5. 1964 Ford Fairlane Thunderbolt, 4.7 seconds. The Ford Fairlane Thunderbolt was a proper race car and one of the fastest classic muscle cars made by Ford in the 60s. The car was conceived in 1964 mainly to help Ford compete with other drag car offerings from Dodge and Plymouth. The body frame of the car was light, but under its hood lay the biggest V8 engine produced by Ford at the time. Extensive modifications had to be made to fit the massive 427 CID V8 into the car. The result was a lightning-quick car that left challengers in its dusty wake. Number 4. 2024 Ford Mustang GT Premium, 4.5 seconds. The newest iteration of the 7th generation Ford Mustang GT is nothing to shake a stick at in terms of performance. With a 0 to 60 time of 4.5 seconds, coupled to the tuned-down 5-liter Coyote V8 you can also find in the Dark Horse, it's a great option in the newest Mustang iteration. Not only that, but you can also get it in the convertible and the 60th anniversary that was just revealed at the Mustang 60th anniversary celebration. Number 3. 2018 Ford Mustang Shelby GT350, 4.2 seconds. The 2020 Mustang Shelby might be all the rage right now, but before that we had the 2018 Shelby GT350, and it was pretty well stacked up too in terms of performance. Under the hood lies a rumbling V8 that can generate 526 horsepower and rev all the way up to 8,200 RPM. The car also comes equipped with some goodies that should come in handy when you really put your foot down. Some of those features include a race-tuned adaptive suspension and high-performance brakes. All that's left is an open highway stretch. Number 2. 2024 Ford Mustang Dark Horse Premium, 3.7 seconds. The newest 7th generation Mustang Dark Horse is like a classic Mach 1 version of the Mustang. This version has the 5-liter Coyote V8 engine that produces a clean 500 horsepower, which equates to literally 100 horsepower per liter. Ford likes to refer to the Dark Horse as the horse you didn't see coming. The last time Mustang had a specialty name badge for their iconic coupe was in 2001 for the Bullet. With a 0 to 60 time of 3.7 seconds, it's much cheaper than the GT500, and you get nearly the same 0 to 60 time. It's a steal for sports cars, and it may be the fastest car Ford makes in 2024. You can also get the new Dark Horse Supercharged. Number 1. 2020 Ford Mustang Shelby GT500, 3.3 seconds. One of the latest pony cars out there also happens to be the fastest ever Ford muscle car. The 2020 Mustang Shelby GT500 is everything a muscle car should be. Lots of brawn, aggressive stance, and yes, loads of horsepower to play with. It does not disappoint at all. It may weigh almost 2 tons, but there's no shortage of power to haul that mass around. And pretty quickly too. The Shelby GT500 packs a 760 horsepower supercharged V8. More than enough to rip the tarmac on its way to its limited 180 miles per hour top speed.